How desperate are you to live longer? How desperate are you to live for your family?
Hello everyone, this is Rupa today and I'm your host and we are back again with another episode of the Business Blueprint. You must be guessing who is our guest today. And we have a fitness entrepreneur today in our show, Mr. Sonam Dorjee Lama from Simply Healthy Fit. Both of the things that we literally struggle with, which comes in our journey of fitness journey. One is obviously discipline, when second is food, and third is motivation.
Motivation will help you kickstart your journey, but discipline is the only thing that will help you sustain. Then there's no way around it. The best thing that a parent can do for their child is start exercising themselves. Because the child will look at the parent and inevitably get inspired.
From all this, I can see a lot of role of mindfulness over here.
The thing is, you have to be aware, right? You don't know what you don't know. If you just put a little bit thought behind every single thing, you'll be fine.
Hello everyone, this is Rupa today and I'm your host and we are back again with another episode of the Business Blueprint. You must be guessing who is our guest today. And we have a fitness entrepreneur today in our show, Mr. Sonam Dorjee Lama from Simply Healthy Fit. Today we're gonna know a lot of things about the industry and also how people are contributing to the fitness industry, like me, who has tried more than 12 trainers and still not reached their goal. See how much I'm contributing to the industry. But we will for sure know that people who are achieving the goals and who are not achieving the goals, how he's making a difference in their life. Let's welcome Mr. Sonam on our show. Hi, Mr. Sonam. Thank you so much for taking our time and coming to our show. How are you doing today?
My pleasure. Thank you very much. I'm very, very happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So, a person like me, for sure, is going to bombard you with a lot of questions that I have inside me.
No worries. Yeah.
However, I would really start from a very important question that I want to ask. Most of the fitness trainers around me or fitness coaches, when I have asked them that how they started this journey, most of them have given me a very common answer, and that is that it just came one day, or it was just some kind of inner calling or some inspiration. There are very less people who said that they planned for it. So I really want to know how it started for you. Was it a planned journey, or was it again just by fluke some kind of inner calling?
Okay. It wasn't a planned journey, and neither was it an inner calling. So, a friend of mine, he insisted that I started training people seriously. I mean, I did it for fun because I've always been into training. I've always been coaching with people one-on-one, but that was just for fun. But a friend of mine, he insisted, saying that you should absolutely monetize this. You're really good at it. And at that time, I had a very comfortable job. I had no issues in life. I had no worries. I was Monday to Friday, and that's it for me. So I said, you know what? If I do this as a business, I will have to run it like a business, which basically means I have to then start thinking like an entrepreneur. So I wasn't ready for it at all. This was around 2018, almost 19. And he insisted, he convinced me, saying that, you know what, you manage the operations, let me manage the back end.
Wow.
And he has a complete business background as well. So I said, fine, fair enough, let's just give it a go. And we started a very small operation. This is when I was living in Canada. A very, very small operation. We had a few clients that we were just trying to build momentum. And as we got closer to 2020, we started, listening to more news about COVID, but we didn't take it seriously at that time because none of us knew what was going to happen. And surely, as COVID hit Canada and we got locked in, that's when I understood that perhaps this is my true calling, because a number of people that I was able to interact with and help at that stage, because we were locked in for a very long time, not like Dubai, just 3 months, no. We were locked in for a long time. And the number of people that I helped around me, around North America, and then cross continents as well, that's when I felt, all right, I think this is what I was meant to do.
Wow. So I think COVID played a big role.
My friend Anish played a big role.
And it played a big role in that. Wow. So how did your journey started in Dubai? What made you come from Canada to Dubai and make this your second home?
So my sister lives in Dubai, and I was here just to visit her. I've been to Dubai many times before. I didn't really have any need to stay back, and even this time round, I had a return ticket back to Toronto. And she said, why don't you just come in here and see if things work out for you? Because at that time, I was looking to come back closer towards India, for that matter, because my parents live in Bombay. But I wanted to be around, but not in the city. And she said, just try Dubai for a change, see how things go. And I came in on a tourist visa.
And which year was this?
This was 2022. Yes.
Okay.
22? Yeah. And it's going to be 3 years now. And one thing led to another because I didn't realize that my clients who I trained online, who were from Dubai, happened to live just in the next building from my sisters. So I said, okay, fine. There you go. I have a couple of clients out here just for fun because I'm here for a month. Let me see how things go.
Okay.
And then very random connections from schoolmates who I hadn't spoken in since 2003 maybe. They connected me with some of their friends who they had studied with at some point in Dubai. And one thing led to another. And before the end of the month, I had a complete roster. And I said, okay, I think it's time to seriously consider staying back in Dubai and, doing the whole visa process, entrepreneurship and all of that. So that's how it happened. Again, this was fate, I guess. It was very by mistake, but I'm glad that it happened.
Yeah.
So for this, I got to thank my sister because she insisted that I come visit her. Because my thing was, I'm just going to pit stop for a day and then fly back. And she said, no, just stay for a while. Stay for a week at least and see how you feel.
And just Dubai welcomed you with open arms.
Yeah, it's been almost, this April will be 3 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I was going through your Instagram, I saw that in your bio, you have mentioned fat loss coach
Yes.
for parents over 35.
Yes.
So I want to know what is this tagline? What is the difference between like fitness coach or fat loss coach? Like for a novice person like me, like isn't it the same? Or is it something really specific, or is there something different about it?
Fitness means a lot of different things for different people, right? For example, the most common norm or the most common phrase you'll hear is people say, I want to lose weight, right? But weight is so many different things put together. And I always say this, if you want to lose only weight, eat less, walk more, you lose weight. But then also be ready to lose muscle mass. There'll be water weight involved in that. There's a whole bunch of other things that you need to take into consideration when you want to, A, keep your muscles, or rather build muscles and lose fat at the same time. Because if you lose fat, the weight loss is a happy byproduct. That's in a nutshell. And the main thing with fat loss is, yes, you see yourself shrinking in size, but you also retain your muscular strength and hopefully your bone strength as well.
Okay. So and why your specific target is parents above 35?
It just so happened that because of my age group, I have a lot of friends who we grew up together and fairly fit, but then one day, they just completely let go. And the biggest complaint they had is, we just don't have time. I just don't have time. No matter what I do, I can't make time. Be it, I got to finish work, got to come back home and spend some time with my kids, and I just don't have time for myself. So the entire program that I designed was for people like this who turn back and say, I just do not have time. Because my whole argument was, fine, if we take time out of the equation, what's your next excuse? Because then it just becomes an excuse.
Yes.
It basically means I just don't want to do it.
Yes.
Right? You can't say, there can't be two truths. There can't be, I want to get healthy, but I don't want to work towards it. It's either or.
It's either or.
Yeah.
But then how do your expertise is fitness?
Yes.
But how do you help them do that time management? Because this is very true in a place like Dubai, where you're built for everything, and everybody is in the rat race, and obviously you're jam packed with your schedules. Now, obviously, I'm sure when people come to you, they come with their totally booked calendar. How do you help them come out of that and manage their time because I'm sure fitness is something where you need at least 2-3 hours dedicated in a day or a few hours in a week to give to yourself. But how do you help them do that?
In a conversation like this, I help them first understand their own priorities, right? Because unfortunately, by the time they come to me, they've already completely let go of themselves. They've either at a very young age had some health scare, you know, the bare minimum is cholesterol's out of whack, right?
Yeah.
Or else, oh, I'm borderline diabetic, or my extremely obese, or whatever the conversation is at that point in time. So first thing is to align their priorities and be like, how desperate are you to live longer? How desperate are you to live for your family? Because I read this fantastic saying that goes like, you always say that you're willing to die for your family, but how about living for them, right?
Oh, wow.
So I get into these conversations with people around me, with people who say that they want to get into fitness and they want to take it seriously. That's number one. Once we've aligned their priorities, they'll make time for it. It's as important as eating on time. It's as important as getting your good night's sleep. And I don't think a person needs 2 to 3 hours a day to train for fitness. I mean, you're stuck in traffic, that's a different conversation, right? But even if it is just half an hour of good, intense training, that's good enough. Like I personally, I don't spend more than 35, maybe tops 40 minutes exercising. I keep 1 hour for myself because the rest of the 20 minutes I'll be walking around. I'll probably be looking for some other music to play. Or if I'm listening to a podcast, then if there's something that I want to re-listen to, then I replay it. And I basically waste time. But my intense workout, like my 100% focus is for those 35 to maybe 40 minutes. And that's with most of our members. If you see, like the students who come to us to learn a new skill of a fat loss or whatever it is, we make sure that we explain to them the reason why they're working out, the reason why they're doing a specific move, and how it directly, how it has a direct implication in their daily lives. Once you explain that, it's easy.
Right. So I've seen that most of the people, and especially you said like after 35 or when we have kids, we have a family, we have work. There are three things that we literally struggle, which comes in our journey of our fitness journey. One is obviously discipline, where time comes in the picture. Second is food, and third is motivation. Now we just covered on the time and the discipline part. I have two more questions about the other two obstacles.
Sure.
So another part is like from people who come from cultures like India, Arabs, where food takes the center stage. They are the part of every celebration, recognition, gratitude. If we come back from school and we say, "Oh, Mama, I came first in the class," and she'll say, "Okay, I'll cook this for you. I'll cook biryani for you. I'll cook gajar ka halwa for you." Nobody says that, "Okay, let's walk 10 kilometers extra or 5
Sure.
kilometers extra, take a laps." Nobody taught us that since childhood. And all our childhood memories are related to food. Weddings, functions, anniversaries, birthdays. Now, when food is so deeply engraved in our childhood memory, and our personalities are 70% of our childhood memories and the environment that we grew up in, then how do you help them come out of this food or the diet thing? Because for me, trust me, it's so difficult, because for me, I'm a food lover, and I literally feel happy when I eat. Like, it's not just about stress eating, okay, is a part, but then whenever I see food or when I have some good food, I think it triggers some hormones which is related to my childhood memory or something, and I really feel happy. But then when suddenly one day you get to know that this food is unhealthy and you are suffering because of this, and now you have to leave it, it sometimes comes as a shock or a trauma to us. How do you handle that? What is the hack to it that I can take it as something positive and I can easily transform to it without taking it as a shock or a trauma?
So the first question out here is, how often are you celebrating in the entire week? Right? Are you celebrating every day? Are you partying every single night? Then you perhaps have to look at a lifestyle change. That's clearly unhealthy. But let's just assume that there is at least one party to attend every single week, period. Right? You cannot escape it. That's perhaps a few hours of your life, a few hours of celebrating, eating, drinking, whatever it is. The rest of the week is still you're living your life every single day. So, yes, it is true that we have to celebrate every moment that we're alive, but that does not mean that we go on a binge tour of all the foods cooked, maybe deep fried, maybe unhealthy, maybe whatever. Even the good stuff. Even let's say even the healthier options. If you overdo it, it's a bit painful, right? I remember this this one time. This is quite some time back. A slightly older gentleman, maybe at that time he must be around close to 50, because I remember his daughter was in her 20s, and one day he wakes up and he goes like, "That's it. I'm gonna do a complete detox and have only a fruit diet or just vegetable diet or something." He went on some different kind of diet, and a month's time he was in the hospital because his body couldn't take it. So he overdid it, right? And I understand what you mean when you say that food brings out emotions. That's just how it is. Even like, the culture that we grew up in, every happy occasion, sometimes even the sad occasions, people feed you to show their love. Like if I got into an argument with my mom, right, instead of making up for it, which we should have, she'll be like, "Okay, the food's on the table," and I'll be like, "Okay, fine, everything's
settled.
yeah, settled now," right? So I get it. That's why I personally follow, and I have everyone else around me follow, the 80-20 split. Firstly, I never call it a diet plan, all right? Because a diet has an end date to it, right? Basically, okay, I'm going to diet, I'm going to fast for a specific period, and then I'm going to get on with my life.
Okay.
I prefer referring to it as a nutrition plan, right? So just I change the words a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so how nourished are you today? For example, if I'm eating clean 80% of the time and I'm having, other foods, let's say oily foods, the rest 20%, I'll be fine. Because that 80%, I am disciplined. Motivation will help you kickstart your journey, but discipline is the only thing that will help you sustain it. And there's no way around it. So let's talk about foods that, give me an example of the foods that you would eat on an everyday basis.
Roti, paratha, vegetables, chicken curry. Yeah.
Right? Now, vegetables, chicken, roti. That in itself is, you're covering your proteins, you're covering your fiber, and you're covering your carbs as well. It's a whole meal. The question then is the portion size, right? How much of it are you eating? Are you eating more than you should be eating? Number one. Number two, how is it cooked? Is, for example, the paratha doused in oil, butter, ghee? Is there oil floating on top of the chicken? All that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you're having extremely rich, fat-rich food at an occasion. Fair enough. But can you continue doing that for the rest of your life, or for the rest of the week? Forget your life, rest of the week. It's not possible.
Right.
So you're eating the right foods. Perhaps the portion sizing is wrong. Perhaps the way you prepare the food is not right. Perhaps you're taking too long a break in between meals. So when you look at food, it's out of pure hunger. So your eyes are bigger than your stomach. So maybe you take too much of it, right? So when we go to a buffet,
Yeah.
standing out there, you want to take every single thing. You might not finish it, but it's there. It's all in front of you. So there are simple things that you can do. And this is something which you have to practice in time, where you understand where your body is about 70 to 80% full, where you eat and you're like, I think I'm getting there. Right?
Okay.
Perhaps like I could do more, but that'll be like, I'll have to open up my pant button and stuff like that.
Right.
Right. So that you learn in time. Other than that, 80% just eat at home, eat within the portion sizes. Initially, if you don't know what the portion sizes are, get a kitchen scale, so that you eventually learn. Like, okay, you can eyeball it. Okay, this is 150 grams of cooked rice. This this much roti is more than enough for me. I'll just sit back and maybe have a sip of water, and it's all up here then. It's all
I think I can see among all this, I can see a lot of role of mindfulness over here.
absolutely.
I think that has to.
The thing is, you have to be aware, right? You don't know what you don't know, right? So if you just put a little bit thought behind every single thing, you'll be fine.
Okay, got it. And before we jump to some questions related to your industry, one last question that I really want to know your take on it. I don't know, this is just a thought. I would like you to either validate it or clarify this, whether is it true. So as children, especially Indian women, when we are growing, we have seen our fathers working out in the morning. My uncle is a gym trainer, he has a gym.
Oh, wow, okay.
But while growing up, I've never seen my mother, my aunts, my neighbors, my teachers. I've not seen any females working out, especially I'm talking about in the 90s. And obviously, when you have not seen any female working out in your surrounding, suddenly you have less role models, you have less influence. And obviously, when you grow up, somehow you also get wired like that. And at the moment now, when it comes to putting fitness as a routine for myself, I don't know, somehow I've seen no matter how much I try, it always takes a backseat. All other works come in priority. And even if I now know the importance, I have awareness, but still it naturally takes a backseat. And I end up putting it in the last priority. Do you think that there is this can be a reason to it, or is it?
Yes, definitely. Because just yesterday I was talking about this, that the best thing that a parent can do for their child is start exercising themselves. Because the child will look at the parent and inevitably get inspired. All right? An example is my brother-in-law and my sister. All right? Sister's big time to yoga, brother-in-law lifts good weights. And we as a family, my sister and I, have been professional swimmers in the past as well. So everything that kid wants, even if it's validation from his mom, right? It's like, I want to swim better. I want to lift heavier weights. I want to run faster. Even if it's just to please their parents. So naturally, that kid will grow up with the mindset of, no, staying healthy is important. Now, going
Yes.
back to our times as children, right? I completely get your point because, see, at that time when we were growing up in India, India was rapidly changing, right? Health and A, there was no knowledge about staying healthy. B, it just wasn't part of the culture. It was more about survival at that stage, right? Where the males of the family would probably go out to earn the money. The women would stay back and look after the family. It was an anomaly for a woman to go out and work and earn, right? For whatever reason at that stage. So, yes, kids always, in some families, looked at their mums as the caretakers and the fathers as the providers. That's just the way it was. But we cannot always fall back upon what happened as children, saying that, oh, because XYZ happened as a kid, that's why I am wired this way. Some traumas will be there with us. Some maybe need to be addressed by a therapist. I don't know, right? But if you look at the now, and if you look at your lifestyle at this stage, and if you still do not prioritize health, you're perhaps waiting for, the doctor's report to say it's getting late. Try to fix it. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier, I have a lot of people that I'm training, that I'm guiding between the ages of 35 to 45, who had completely let go. And the doctors, and this is a couple of surgeries later,
Oh.
And the doctor's like, man, if you don't fix it now, I'll be seeing you on the table again, on the operation table again, right? And maybe that was the eye opener. In some cases, it's the kids. You know, parents live such an unhealthy lifestyle. I get upset when I see, like, for whatever reason, I shouldn't be, none of my business, but I get upset when I see kids out with their parents at midnight, at 1 a.m. at these parties, right? You know, like whenever I have to attend them, because for me, by 9:30, 10, I'm out, lights out. But there are times that you can't avoid them. And I'm like, why is this child here? Right? The parents out there, fair enough. The parents drunk, but why is this child here? So these are habits that you are already inculcating into your children from a very young age.
Right.
So what do you expect for them to feel like as teenagers? Unless they suddenly have, like, the boys have Ronaldo to look up to, right? The girls, let's see, who's like a fitness role model in India right now for women? Um, some actress perhaps. You've got at that stage Deepika Padukone had become really fit. There's this other lady,
Disha Patani,
Disha
yeah.
Patani. She's really fit. And if girls want to look at her and feel inspired, fair enough. But also, again, going back to our heroes and priorities are slightly misplaced, because heroes for women in particular would be amazing if they were some sort of athletes. You know, growing up, me as an athlete, me as a sports person, I used to get a monthly subscription of Sports Star magazine, right? In that, we used to have this massive poster of the sports athlete of that month.
That month,
Right?
okay.
And a full body photo, sometimes of a cricketer, sometimes a footballer, sometimes a swimmer. So we were constantly looking up at these things. The guys in India had Sachin Tendulkar to look up to, right? Women, I don't remember, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember them having any such athletic role models to look up to either,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there was PT Usha at that time.
Yes.
And this I'm talking about when I was
Yes.
when
Same
we were
here,
kids.
yeah. I remember just PT Usha.
And because we were in the swimming fraternity, so I knew the swimmers who were doing, swimmers who were doing really well. But if you're not in that circle, you don't know what's what,
Yeah,
right?
you know, influence.
So, yes, if you cannot find a role model on the outside, it's time to create them at home.
Very true.
Right.
I think this podcast is changing my mindset as well, and especially the
Awesome.
way you're playing with the words, like, you know, when we're changing it from a diet to a nutrition plan. I'm really liking it, and obviously being role model for your kids. This statement itself is a big motivation. That yeah, I don't want my kid tomorrow to suffer or struggle to be fit like me or like anybody else. So I think this is really amazing. Now, when coming to entrepreneurship, and you know, there's one question which I really like asking entrepreneurs, that how do they deal with competition in the industry? And when I talk about specifically fitness industry, I've seen you are competing with different nationalities. Okay, there are Russian fitness trainers, there are Afghani fitness trainers, Chinese fitness trainers, and all people from different nationalities over here, British fitness trainers. And obviously everybody's wired or genetics is absolutely different.
Absolutely.
African fitness trainers. And how do you deal with that competition? And how do you plan to stand out in the market? Because obviously when you're in business, competition will be a...
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a multi-layered answer. So number one, mindset. I choose to have an abundance mindset. I don't come from a place of scarcity where I feel that the competition will take my business away from me. All right, that's the first aspect of it. And that has been very helpful for me in my journey. Number two, it is excellence in the sense that if I am a fat loss coach, or if I was a movement coach, if I was a specialist, that is how I will stand out, right? So to stand out, you have to be a specialist. If you are a generalist, then there's dime a dozen, right? It's just like how much do you pay to go see a GP versus you'd go to pay a surgeon?
Exactly. This was a similar answer I got from a dentist I interviewed last
Yeah.
week. And exactly, he said one of the biggest mantras is to choose a niche and become an expert of that.
Yeah. Become an expert. And the main thing, and this is me because I come from a hospitality background. I studied hospitality, so maybe that's why it sits in me. But customer service. And that is, you need to A, empathize, and B, root for your client, for your student, for whoever it is. Because if it's a transactional relationship, the client can, it's an open market. The client can go anywhere. Why should they choose to continue working with you? So that's why even when I choose my teammates, when I choose trainers from the company, I don't care that they may not be the best trainers on the floor. They might not even have the communication skills, but I really test them on their EQ. I test them to see how they behave with the clients.
Serving mentality.
Yes, how the clients feel with them, right? And thankfully, we found a good team so far. And again, it's about caring for your client, because I have a lot of people who come up to me. Again, fortunately, I'm very very blessed, very very grateful for this. You know, members of other companies, they come up to me and they say, we're really unhappy with that because we don't feel as though they care about us. We're just a number on the books.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but now you've paid so much, I don't know, like 20, 30,000 for the training. You finish it off, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we can have a conversation. But for me, I'm not sure how scalable this is in the long run. But I personally like knowing every one of our members, every one of our clients.
And especially fitness is something where everybody, yeah, I'm sure every client of yours mostly is coming after facing something really bad in their life.
They come to me
It
in a
is-
very vulnerable state.
Exactly. And there, if you don't get care or that kind of,
Think about it, right?
friendship,
Yeah.
it becomes difficult to,
Absolutely. So that's why I want my trainers to help our members in such a way that the members also feel accountable towards them, right? It shouldn't come from out of, oh, I've paid for it, so I have to show up,
they have to show up.
right? Or else like
They should feel happy to.
look forward to it. Or else if they come back from a vacation, oh, I missed being here, right? How many times have we paid gym memberships and never shown up? Because
Ask me.
Yeah.
Gym membership,
I've done
yoga
the same, man.
memberships, thousands of them.
I've done
just
the same because
gone.
I had no reason to go back, other than I have to work out. I'll go for a run. It's okay. I don't want to go all the way to the gym, right? So
So when it comes to business, after competition, my second favorite topic is how do you scale up or how do you make more profits? Now, definitely, especially after COVID, fitness industry is now $1 billion worth industry. It's going really well, 11% growth rate. But even after that, I have seen many fitness trainers or fitness entrepreneurs struggling with making profits. So, what are you have done it pretty well, and you have diversified your business in different things. Do you have any tips for fitness entrepreneurs that what they can do to scale up their business and bring profits to the books? Because no matter how skilled you are in training, how much you care for your customers, that's all good. But if you're not bringing profits on the table,
Sure.
you're failing as an entrepreneur. So, what are your tips for them?
So my tips are in your question itself.
Okay.
All right. Being a personal trainer is a profession. The health and fitness is an industry, right? So, and personal training can be emotional, can be, creative, but to be alive in the health and fitness industry, you need to have business acumen. So you have to upscale, you have to learn about business. If you don't have the opportunity to go to a business school, meet business owners, join networking groups like BNI, right? Rub shoulders with these people, veterans of the industry, veterans of their own industries, and understand how business is done. Again, you have to make sales. That's the bloodline, like, I mean, of your entire business. And you have to also be present in your business. So how can you manage both? Let's say if a person is freelancing, right? How many hours in a day can they provide? Let's just talk about a brand new, just off the boat personal trainer out here. Scared to charge too much because, I'm so new that I may not get clients. Like, let's just say underconfident, like, the typical that we see, that not sure how the business will roll. Let me just figure things out. On an average, I've seen people charge even as low as 100 dirhams a session, right? So you've already, let's say, undercut yourself, right? But you get 10 clients at that rate. All right, you're thinking, oh my God, I do 12 sessions a month with each
100 dirham
client.
is just your expense from coming from your house and going to the gym.
I'm just saying, like,
Exactly.
just numbers. That I think I'm going to I have 10 clients, I do 12 sessions, 100, 12,000 a month. Oh, that sounds great. But then not the cycle doesn't go like a salary,
Right.
right? It's a business. Money can come in midweek, money can come in at the end of the month, and clients can go on vacation.
Yeah.
If you're working in the business, who's working on the business, right? So basically, while you are training, you're not working on your marketing.
Right.
So while you're working in the business, who's working on the business, right? As long as you're on the floor, you're not working on the marketing side of it. If you're not working on the marketing side of it, people aren't noticing you other than your circle. How many word of mouth references can you get? Forget that. Even if you're so good at your work, you're priced very well, you want to get more clients in, but you have only 24 hours in a day. How many can you coach? So for that, you have to eventually build a team. Unless you're happy doing freelancing and how much ever you're doing is perfectly fine, satisfied, good enough. But if you want to scale, you have to build a team. That's one aspect. Now, have a business model in place wherein do we do only home service? Do we only train at a gym? Do we do a bit of both? How much does it cost me? You have to of course run your numbers. But yeah, first step is build your team so that your team does your training. You train the teammates so that every style of coaching goes down from the top. It's standard throughout, right? Have your SOPs in place. Teach your trainers. And in a few years, if they want to go out and do business on their own, which is perfectly fine, and they should, I feel, because everyone has their own, aspirations. And they should, when they leave the company and they tell them, oh, I worked with Sonam, oh, I worked with Simply Healthy, that itself should be like, oh my God, which means he must be a great trainer. Yeah. So that gives us back in return as well. That's just the way it is.
Very true. And so yes, so team building becomes one of the most important aspects, and obviously then again marketing or either being good at different things or hiring people who are good at it who can do it for your business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, it is said that when a business wants to move from a red ocean to a blue ocean, diversification plays a big role. And now obviously every business tries to, like for example, we were doing business setup. Now setting up businesses, we saw that our clients need offices. We got into business center business. Then we saw that our clients need consultation on feasibility reports, marketing, market survey, or we got into management consulting. And this is how slowly a brand diversifies when you have the same segment of client who needs accessory services, and that accessory can become your main business.
Sure.
As well. In fitness, I see a lot of scope of diversification, and well, for me, for an outsider, I can just name a few things. For example, selling protein powders or supplements, or maybe diet plans, or ready-made meals. That's very trending now, or gadgets. To record your. So there are a lot of things in the market. I really want to know a few of your favorite ones, or where you see that that can add on to the profit, or it can be a good area to diversify, or if you have already experimented with some.
So the way I look at things is I always prefer having the path of least resistance. All right. So, as an example, today we're training parents. I'll diversify into training the kids as well, then.
Oh, wow.
Right? That requires a specialized kind of training. That's one thing. Other side of fitness could be, do we do group training? Do we do community training? Or do we keep it one-to-one? So now you already have 3 layers just in the fitness, like exercising space. The other side of it could be, yes, meal plans. Right? So the person that I partner up with, Mitunji Sarkar, she already has a meal plan company out here. So one of the big bonuses of us getting together was that she has a meal plan company and I had a fitness company, right? So together we started Simply Healthy Fit,
Right.
right? And it works both ways because we as trainers now get to see better results because I'm like, many ways that you can go about your fitness journey. One, you leave everything in our hands, wherein we curate everything from your training to your meals to your entire calendar, all right? Or else, second way, you come to us for the training and we'll give you a meal guide saying that as long as you can cook it at home and stick to the plan, we're good. So now the client has options to play around with, right? Or else they were coming to us and they were training hard, but they were eating absolute crap at the end of the day. So I'm like, that's no fun, right? Because we aren't seeing results, you aren't seeing results, why are we wasting our time?
Right.
Sort of a thing. Unless I do get some people sometimes who say, you know what, I'm training just so that I can eat and drink as much as I want. Fair enough, that's your lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
But there's many ways that you can go into. Then there's apparel sales, of course. Then there's, like you mentioned, like supplements. You can tie up with so many different providers and see what, first, of course, like I said, find the path of least resistance and then slowly start going into slightly more difficult,
Segments.
segments. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously you don't want yourself to defocus from your
Yeah.
niche. that
Because
you-
our main focus is personal training. I want our members to feel like, yes, they have transformed physically, mentally, emotionally. And food is part of emotions as well. So we can provide you that, or else we can guide you how to do it. Basically, at the end of the day, you got to be like, I'm getting my full, everything that I need is what I'm getting.
Okay. Now, my another question is again in business. Okay, one is competition. We spoke about diversification. Another favorite topic of mine is client retainer. Now, for industries like me, retaining clients is a healthy thing to talk about because obviously I want my clients to come back to me for their papers, for their documents, for their visas, for the employee visas. But as a fitness trainer, you always onboard clients with a goal. And let's say once that journey is completed, I really want to know what's the intention of a fitness coach versus a business owner. Do you want to retain the clients for long, or do you really want them to achieve their goal and never come back to you?
So, of course, as a business owner yourself, it's much more financially viable to retain a client than to acquire a new one.
Right.
Simple math. But I always tell, now this is my ethos, this is the way I run the ship, that you come with a goal in mind. My job or our job is to teach you, right? We'll teach you how to fish. We won't just give you the fish. So we will go through this entire journey with you together, and we will tell you exactly what you are doing and why you're doing. All right? We'll eventually reach your goal. And now this is the blueprint that it's for yourself. You can do what you have to with it. If you want to sustain or maintain where you are, you don't need us. Ideally, you don't need us, right? But if you've built that connect with your trainer where you're like, I come here and my journey is enjoyable, my workout is enjoyable, or my goals have changed now. I've lost all the weight, I've lost all the fat, now I want to build more muscle. I want a six-pack now, or else I want a bigger bum now. Whatever it is,
Yes.
right? Your goals change, and so does your training protocol. So there's many ways that you can go about it, but I feel that once you have learned how to do things on your own, you need to be able to execute it on your own.
Right.
That's just the way I am.
Yeah,
So
because a lot of times I think your profession is not less than doctor. Because at the moment, you guys are helping keeping the doctors away. Before it was an apple a day,
Yeah.
but now it's a good fitness trainer
Yeah.
on the way and doctor away.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, so that's why obviously this just question came like, how will you think like, to retain your clients?
So-
But I think what I liked about you is giving them new goals or giving them new perspectives of how so from going from health industry to beauty industry, you can say, or the aesthetics,
Yeah.
how you look, how
from
you
health to vanity,
yeah,
everything.
yeah, exactly.
It's
So,
so I'll tell you about our company as well. My company. We started this. Mithun and I started this just shy of 3 years ago. I think it's been 2.5 years. Like I moved to Dubai, and 6 months later, she and I met, and now Simply Healthy Fit, right? And we still have some of our clients from the very beginning. They don't need to be with us. They want to be with us because they enjoy the training, and we mix things up. Because I will look at the training protocol, or I find you've been on this phase for a bit. Have your goals changed? I want to learn a new skill. What do you want to learn? I think this year, like this year, I really want to get better at yoga. Fine. We have a trainer who can help you with that. And I will dedicate that trainer to this person, to this client. So then it comes to skills. I have another member who, when he came to me, he exercises, he did things on his own, but always had a lower back pain. All right, fine, let's figure things out, right? And looked fairly fit. And while exercising, we realized that because of his wrong form, he constantly had a lower back pain. We took 3 months just to fix, or rather stop that back pain, right? And then I was like, okay, we've achieved our target, what next? He's like, no, I want to continue this because now I know where I was going wrong. I want to get stronger. 6 months together, we got stronger. Now I want to get bigger. 6 months later, we got bigger. Now I want to learn how to box. Now we're learning how to box, right? So because you have to gamify it, you have to make it
Right.
exciting,
Right.
or else even me as a trainer, I'm like, I eat, breathe, sleep fitness. But if you ask me just to do the same training program every single day, no chance.
I was so surprised to see when I was in Phuket, and there is a healthy street and a
Yes.
entire like a small village they
Fitness
have
street,
made
yeah.
fitness street, and they have just made a small village where there is Muay Thai, boxing, people are running together, and you won't believe people were there with different goals. And I was amazed to see that. And I think the next trending topic is wellness real estate, which is happening. A lot of places they are building up entire cities based on wellness. So that's going to be a big thing. I think next people can invest over there.
I recently saw one here itself. I don't quite remember where, but there was this flat piece of land, and it's like it's going to be some some fitness related living.
Oh wow!
So like
Yes, that is
I
going
think,
to come. So when we talk about trends, there are a lot of trends that keeps on coming on every year. Like 2024, this rucking was in trend, trampoline was in trend.
we did rocking in school, man. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you do with these trends? Do you experiment and include it in your training parts, or is it just
Yeah, I mean, you can have fun with it, right?
okay?
You take the goods, you leave the bads,
Yeah.
sort of a thing. Because the people who come to us, particularly to train, they're not the CrossFit type people. Neither are they going to do high rocks. Rocking perhaps, but they can't. They can barely make time to
For the-
exercise. So that's another barrier in the way. So we can gamify it. We can have fun with it. But trends are trends. They come and go. They'll come back again.
Yeah.
And what will really keep you in shape is the traditional resistance training. So however you train, continue. Whatever you're having fun with, that's the best way to train.
That's awesome. And before I come to my last question is about AI, because now AI is trending. It's disrupting every market, every industry. What do you see AI, how it is going to affect the fitness industry, or what changes it's going to bring?
I feel more than a disruptor in the fitness industry, I want to look at it as a companion because it'll make our lives a lot easier. I, for one, talk a lot with the AIs, because I want to learn what's going on in there, what I can do to improve as well. If there's some research which I have no idea about, right, that's out there, bring it out. Let me see. If there's an update to that research, for and against, what is it, so I can make up my mind. Now I'll ask for opinions. Now, if I have to design a workout program, for example, I have my way of doing it. This is what I prefer. And I'll feed in all my programs saying that this is what I do. This is how I do it, right? If I want to shorten this, what recommendations would you give? So I'm constantly learning something new, which would otherwise take me maybe a few hours to do. It's happening in minutes. When it comes to tracking your workouts, there are some apps where you feed in your workouts every single day, and it tells you based on your effort level how much you can do next week as well. So more than a disruptor, I look at it as a companion, because at the end of the day, the personal training business is a service. It's a service-based business, right? Yes, a person can train on their own, but why are they going to the trainer, right? What is it about the trainer that helps them push a little more? That one more rep, that one more set, one more day, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that, at least not yet, that AI can replace those aspects, those soft skills of a person. Because that's why it's called a personal trainer, because it's person to person, right? And that's just the way it is.
So my last question to you, what is your 2025 resolution, or what new or what next big thing are you planning to do as a fitness coach or as an entrepreneur? Do you have any plan in mind?
So again, this is again for you if you want to keep it short thing, but I never make resolutions. Because again, that's like motivation. It comes and goes, right? I make bigger goals and then funnel it down to smaller goals.
Smaller goals.
Now, for the company, for 2025, I personally want to have about 100 members within our ecosystem for Simply Healthy Fit. We're halfway there, but again, the weather comes in. The season comes in. It changes. Numbers change. You know how it is. But 100 would be a very good number for us to have, because for the company, I want to see 10 trainers with 10 members each, and they're all tracking their members diligently, and I'm looking after the trainers. So that is for the company. For myself personally, Jan threw a bit of a wrench in my personal plans, because something came up back home, but then had to. My wife said something very, very important to me the other day, because as I was having an absolute, horrible day, and I'm like, oh my God, today's ruined, and this was at 12 in the afternoon. I'm like, today's ruined. Today's going to be a messed up day. She's like, okay, restart, right? And that's exactly what I needed. So that's why even like sometimes we go, I'm going to start on Monday, right? And then Monday comes, I missed it. You know what, next Monday. Like, why? Monday afternoon, Monday evening, Tuesday morning could be day one. So that's something which I want to work, for myself, to become a lot more mentally stronger. So I'm working on those aspects, to not let myself go down that hole, because it's very easy for me to emotionally eat as well.
Yes.
It's come on. And then the dessert, the ice cream box comes out and all of that, right? But
So that's such a nice word to end our podcast, is restart. So wherever you're feeling stuck, just tell yourself restart, and restart your journey. So thank you so much for coming to our show. I think the conversation was amazing. I am sure everybody in the audience has a lot of takeaways, and especially me, who has been a failure in this journey. But I'm sure I will use this word restart for myself, and I will restart to it. This conversation has been very enlightening for me as well, and I want to become a role model for my kid. So thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you everybody for watching us. I'm sure you liked our show. If you liked it, please like it. Put your comments. What else you would like to hear from us? This is Rupa Jha from Business Blueprint, powered by Black Swan Business Setup Services. We would like to see you again in our next episode. Thank you so much for watching us. Bye-bye.